You sighed as the notification appeared on your screen indicating that your phone had low battery. The thought of getting up and walking all the way to the bedroom was exhausting, but you didn't want your phone to die in the middle of your game. With a half of annoyance, you pulled yourself from the couch and started walking towards the bedroom you shared with Dabi. He was curled up in a ball on the bed, so you attempted to look for your charger as quietly as possible so you didn't disturb him. While fumbling through the drawer of your nightstand, you heard a whimper and turned to see Dabi, hands in his hair, with a pained expression on his sleeping face. You frowned and abandoned your search for your charger, carefully placing your phone down atop the nightstand and sliding onto the bed. He clenched his teeth and made another frightened noise, his grip on his hair tightening. You trailed your fingers along his jawline and he flinched away from your touch.
Dabi? Hey, baby, it's okay.
You whispered, laying down beside him and pulling his head to your chest, running your fingers through his hair.
You're okay.
He made a soft, humming noise in response to your words, and you buried your face in his hair, kissing the top of his head.
I love you, Dabi. No one's gonna hurt you as long as I'm here. Everything's okay.
Tomura had fallen asleep some time ago, leaving you wide awake and bored out of your mind. You laid face up on the bed beside him, staring at the ceiling, waiting for sleep to come to no avail. All of a sudden, you got the urge to play video games and carefully crept out of bed to sit in the beanbag you'd placed for yourself in front of the TV. It was very rare that you played without Tomura, but he was dead asleep and would be pissed if you woke him up to play a game, no matter how much he loved them. You became immersed in the game, excited to finally be able to win now that you weren't up against Tomura and his expert skills. You quietly cheered to yourself, eyes locked on the screen and fingers fiddling away with the controller buttons as you fought your opponent. There were only a few seconds left in the battle, and you were winning, when you heard a noise that tore your attention away from the television screen. Confused, you turned your head to Tomura, who was cradling his knees and shaking. Quiet, distressed cries escaped his mouth and you dropped the controller, forgetting entirely about the game and your winning streak. Taking care to be quiet, you crawled back into bed, pressing your chest against Tomura's back and your face into the crook of his neck. You wrapped your arms around him as tightly as you could without causing discomfort and kissed the scars along his neck. His shaking and crying became more subdued at your touch.
Don't cry, Tomura. I've got you. You're safe.
You cooed, rubbing circles against his upper arm with your thumb.
Everything is okay, love. I promise. Calm down. Hey, Shouto? Can I borrow your...
You paused mid-sentence when you realized that the boy in question was in his bed, buried under a pile of blankets. You shut your gaping mouth and stood in silence for a few moments, debating on whether you should just look for the notes yourself or leave and come back later. As you were about to walk out, you noticed a muffled noise coming from the lump of blankets. Shouto? There was no response, but the noises continued. After a moment of listening, you realized he was whimpering like a hurt puppy.
Is he having a bad dream?
You thought, staring in confusion.
No, No.
He cried out, and instinctively you lunged at the bed and crawled over to him, frantically moving his excessive blankets out of your way. Underneath them, Todoroki was laying on his side, with his face contorted in fear and pain. He was still sleeping, but his rapid breathing and trembling hands indicated he was having a horrible nightmare. You gently laced your fingers between his and squeezed, then leaned down and kissed his forehead.
Shouto. It's me, Traveler.
You whispered, squeezing his hand tighter.
You're alright. Okay, babe? I'm here. Not him. It's just a dream.
Though he remained asleep, he rolled himself into your lap and wrapped his arms around your waist, pressing himself against you. You smiled down at him and stroked his hair softly.
I'll protect you, okay? Don't worry.
It wasn't often that Shinsou got the proper amount of sleep, so you never complained when he fell asleep while you were together. He was currently laying on his side on your sofa while you sat at the opposite end, watching the movie the two of you had picked out. Shinsou wasn't missing much, and you were on the verge of sleep yourself from how boring the movie was. You were beginning to doze off, but a sudden movement from Shinsou startled you awake. Blinking away your sleepiness, you looked over at him to see him chewing the skin of his fingers in his palm. He was trembling, and it took you a little longer than it should have to realize he was having a nightmare. If you weren't so tired, you would have realized immediately. After coming back to Earth, you crawled down the couch and shimmied your way between Shinsou's chest and the back pillows. Gently grabbing his wrist, you pulled his hand away from his mouth and gave him a peck on the lips.
Hey, love, it's okay.
You mumbled, pressing your head against his collarbone. He wrapped his arm around you and pulled you closer into him, letting out a small whine as he did so.
I'm here, alright? I've got you.